Yeah, what up everyone? It's JimmaBanks and I really cannot believe that I won a regional tournament. Learn your typings. The trainers were tough. The tournament was ran very well. Thank you very much, Ann Arbor, Michigan. And the hosts did an amazing job. Thank you for you guys, the viewers, the subscribers, Sarnia, London, Toronto, Canada, America. Yeah, America. Here's my team. For those of you that don't know, I'm a Canadian Canuck from Canada. Sorry, eh? But I live 10 minutes away from the American-Canadian border. So Ann Arbor, Michigan was a shorter drive than going to Toronto, Canada. Also, the tournament was 1 week earlier, so I wanted to get the tournament out. But guess what? Randomly, Probo Pass becomes a thing 24 hours leading up to the tournament. And I was very lucky. I messaged a lot of people that played the game and quit early trying to find a Shadow Ball Haunter. It's so fun to battle with. Shadow Ball does a crazy amount of damage, but you'll see that I didn't use it until the last match. And then the rest of my team is all meta picks, giving me great balance. I wanted to be able to use all 6 of these Pokemon in any situation. Obviously, the goal usually is to win any tournament that you participate in, but I also wanted to just win more than I lost. So myself, the friends, the homies, Switch, EJD, and Adrian Fish hopped in the vehicle and we took off to Michigan. And guess what? Game 1, I've got to battle the highest ranked player in the tournament. Shout out to you, Mystery Man 8. Shout out to Team Mystic. Okay, here we go. Game 1. I felt that Metacham was a safe lead. I'm very aware of that Marowak. Another reason I didn't run Haunter is Bone Clubs would just do a lot of damage. The ghost damage is super effective, but I know that I'm going to burn a shield in this matchup and hopefully kill his Skarmory. We don't kill his Skarmory, but we get him to use a shield, and we're okay with that because we still have a shield, and I don't have Venusaur on my team. After Metacham dies, I have to choose between Azumarill and Skarmory. Now, I like Azumarill. I know that he just unloaded his energy on that Sky Attack to kill my Metacham, and I just want to hopefully bubble his Skarmory down. Thousands of trainers all over the world debated for their team. What do you use? Ice Beam, Play Rough, Hydro Pump. I fire off the Play Rough, trying to do some damage, and he thought maybe Jimma was going to throw some bait. So he chose not to shield. I did throw some bait later on in the tournament, but I was just thinking, let's hopefully burn his last shield. So we get lucky, he doesn't shield, and there is that Marowak. I'm glad I don't have Haunter on my team. There was a few Pokemon this tournament that I didn't really want to fight. One of them was Marowak, one was Wishcash, and then Gallade causes problems for my team also, right? So shout out to Mystery Man, though, for using the shiny Marowak and the shiny Metacham. He gets style points, cool factor. But we were really happy that we had the Skarmory to go in on the Marowak. We've talked about Shadow Ball on Haunter, but Shadow Ball on Marowak is pretty effective as well. Hex charges up those charge moves so fast, and it can fire off a Bone Club or a Shadow Ball. I do KO with Bubble, and fire off Play Rough right away. I want to get rid of Metacham. I take game 1, I take a moment, I reset, and I treat it like it's a brand new series. Just one game at a time. Now, I find with Probo Pass, people like to lead with it. Another reason I wanted to lead with Metacham, I should have just went with my gut and did the same thing. But we're just going to play out this matchup. Bastiodon, I'm going to take all the charge moves. All of the charge moves for Probo Pass are usable. And I fire off a Flamethrower, and he decides to shield. I would say you probably don't want to shield that. And that's also the thing about being concerned about Probo Pass. People don't have that much practice with Probo Pass because, again, it just came out the day before the tournament. Another reason why I kind of am like a Probo Pass hater. A lot of people like it. It's very viable. But I think this is the new Pokemon Jimma's going to just dislike. But I'm not going to be ignorant to it. It's very powerful. In the moment, I'm happy with the outcome of that. We got him to use a shield. Bastiodon is gone. And you can see I chose not to run a Metacham. So, Azumarill, water is super effective. We're going to shield the possible Thunderbolt and just quick move Probo Pass down. Now, what does he bring out next? Let me know in the comments what you ran or what you would run, Ice Beam, Play Rough, or Hydro Pump. I really did like Hydro Pump. I practiced a lot of Ice Beam, Play Rough before I even considered Hydro Pump. But you know Hydro Pump is going to be super effective against so many Pokemon that will resist Ice Beam or Play Rough. I just felt that it's so much energy to build up, and then if my opponent shields, I just was hoping that the quicker Ice Beam and Play Rough would pay off in the long run. It definitely paid off in this series. I'm able to fire off the Ice Beam and finish off the Skarmory, and he has a Venusaur for his last Pokemon, and I'm very happy that I chose Skarmory. I left Medicham on the bench. That gives us the win. Very, very tough opponent. Much respect to you, Mystery Man. Round 1 complete, and I just reset, and I wait to see my opponent's team for round 2. Probopass is always going to stand out in a lineup to me. We spoke about how I don't really want to fight a Whiscash, and I had some tough practice rounds with Tropius. That flying damage is super effective against my Medicham and Venusaur. So I go with Medicham. I like the Medicham lead against his team. Shout out to you, Solray Lammy. Might be saying that wrong, but respect some very tough battles. So let's go. Game 1. We really like our lead. In comes Probopass. Double weak to fighting. He has to quickly sub that out. He brings in his Medicham, and I go right to my Skarmory. You have to be very careful and not let your opponent go crazy with power-up punch. We all know that the attack power increases every power-up punch. So it's important to find a way to kill your opponent's Medicham or build up as many power-up punches for you to be super strong. Okay, we get him to use his first shield with that Sky Attack, and in comes Venusaur, and this is a huge mistake on my part. I figured maybe he was quickly firing off a power-up punch. No, he saw the Venusaur, fires off Ice Punch, and it does a huge amount of damage. I'm very lucky to just get the Frenzy Plant off, and he wisely just lets his Medicham go. My Venusaur is basically dead, and in comes Whiscash. So a couple Vine Whips bring it down, and I do like this Whiscash Medicham matchup, especially when I have a shield advantage. And that was a questionable shield by him, right? I'm still building up my power-up punches, and you would want to shield one of the other power-up punches, but I think he felt going on the offensive side and firing off those mud bombs. He got a couple off, and we're happy because I'm just building up my attack power with power-up punch. I debate shielding or not, and I just take the mud bomb. That was very risky, but I was very concerned about a charge move from Probopass, which he doesn't get off because we're able to quickly kill him, and that was close. You never want to lose a match and have a shield left over. It just feels terrible. We almost lose game 1 because of our own mistakes. We pick another favorable lead. I like that matchup. He brings in his Skarmory, and I instantly regretted that. It felt wrong. It also felt like a slow sub out. I should have just stayed in with Skarmory. Hopefully he doesn't get off a second Sky Attack. We're just going to stay focused and build up those power-up punches. In the moment, I felt almost obligated because I had a power-up punch built up. I didn't necessarily need to use that last shield. Now I'm out of shields. I do get another power-up punch off, and he uses his first shield. So we're down a shield, and we do get this power-up punch, and bye-bye Skarmory. We're about to witness a really good substitution by my opponent. Yeah, that's the easy decision. He does a Mud Bomb, kills Medicham. I bring in Skarmory. Fire off a Sky Attack, which we all know does a decent amount of damage to Whiscash. But my mistake was I should have farmed up a little extra energy. I went for the KO, and I wanted my opponent to use his last shield, but I should know that Skarmory can take a Blizzard, and after he fires off that Blizzard, Mud Bombs don't hurt. So I could have farmed up extra energy, and right there, he doesn't wait for his Whiscash to die. He brings in Medicham, and I'm so close to Sky Attack, but that timing really helped him win this match. I know I have to farm up some extra energy, so I take this Ice Punch very close, and I get the Frenzy Plant off, which is going to kill Medicham. In comes a very weak Whiscash, and it's just not enough. I'm so close. I just reset. I know both of the first 2 games are extremely close, and I go with the Medicham lead, and it pays off in a huge way. He has to sub out Probopass. He brings in Azumarill, and I go straight to my Venusaur. When I say it's unbelievable I won a regional tournament, it kind of is, especially when you see mistakes like that. How do you not use a shield? It's obviously an Ice Beam being fired at you. Like, it's okay to use a shield and then maybe not shield the second Ice Beam, but it's just unbelievable how lucky I am in certain situations. I do get off the Frenzy Plant. He does not use a shield, so he's got a shield left. I've got a shield left. Venusaur is basically done. What does he bring in? The Probo, which Metachamp says is a no-no. So I'm going to fire off the power-up punch. Pretty happy I land a power-up punch. He quickly subs out, and I bring in Skarmory. Have an issue. And I just hope this doesn't cost me. We know that I win because I've won the regional tournament, but man, does that make this match closer. So he gets off another power-up punch. I'm just trying to hang on to this last shield. I have a feeling I'm going to need it. And he's got to shield this Sky Attack. His Metacham is all boosted up. Those counters really do hurt. I bring in my Metacham and he fires off an Ice Punch. And I'm just hanging on to that shield, concerned about a Probopass charge move. Couple counters finish and get rid of his Metacham. In comes Probopass. And as I build up and fire off this power-up punch, relief. After some mistakes, a very tough trainer goes right down to the wire. No time to celebrate. We have to fight another undefeated trainer. Shout out to you, Kev Bub. Your team is good and confusing. You've got the 2 water Pokemon, and it makes me not want to use my Venusaur because he's got Gallade and Frostlass. I've mentioned it before, one of my big focuses was taking my time and reading my opponent's team, and Kev Bob and I were on the same page. We actually kept both apologizing for how long we were taking, but we just took our time, read each other's team, and I really liked the Metacham lead versus his Wishcash. Both of our Pokemon have these quick charging charge moves. The only difference is mine increases my attack power each one I land. So he does decide to get Wishcash out of there and bring in his Gallade. And I go with Skarmory, bringing it down very quick. I am concerned about close combat, but this is a bad shield. He didn't have enough time to get off of close combat, so he's got to feel good about making me burn a shield on something like a Leaf Blade where I would resist that damage. So, whatever he brings in, I'm going to fire off this Sky Attack. He does the Wishcash, so he's going to use his first shield. Maybe I did learn from my mistakes in round 2. I farm up a little extra energy against the Wishcash. I take the Blizzard, get a couple more air slashes in, fire off the Sky Attack, and it really does pay off getting the extra couple quick moves in because I'm able to get another Sky Attack off against his Frostlass. Trying to make little improvements or gaining the edge on your opponent is going to make the difference in these matches. Just getting off a couple quick moves or using the shields in the right scenarios or even not using a shield, it all comes down to the practice and the preparation you do leading up to these tournaments. Make sure when you're battling your friends, do best of 3s. Show your teams. This will allow you to take the games serious and then also get you used to reading teams. So, I decide not to use my last shield. Down goes Metacham. In comes Azumarill. You probably just noticed a little lag there in Game 1, but we had a lot more lag in Game 2. We're in the middle of Game 2. And he has a little bit of an edge on me, and then the game froze. And we actually had to retry multiple times. We were just freezing, and I'm really happy for Game 2 that we were able to duplicate what happened when the game froze. This is exactly what happened, right? I go for the Flash Cannon because Nose Pass resists Sky Attack. Another reason why I really like Skarmory, when you're getting walled, you're able to still do the Flash Cannon. I decide not to shield. I feel there's no point. And I also know I don't have any time to get off another Flash Cannon, so I go for a Sky Attack just to get a little bit more damage. Okay, Skarmory did an okay job. I mean, the best job that it could do against a Probopass. And I bring in the MVP Metacham. And I choose not to shield this Magnet Bomb. Does a decent amount of neutral damage, but we're able to quick move, Nose Pass gone. And he brings in Frostlass, and I decide to shield the Avalanche, and I bring in Azumarill, and he does a quick switch out, And I thought, wow, he goes into Metacham. I am familiar how Frostlass works from other cups, but in all of the practice matches, I did not run into a Frostlass at all. So, does he make the right move there by subbing in Metacham? Usually you like this scenario, right? I did shield bait and threw out an ice beam on the first charge move, and I'm gonna do it again. I think he will use his shield, and he does. And I'm down to one shield, and I don't shield that one. And I'm just slowly building up that energy. And what do we do here? Do we use that last shield? Was that a mistake? I am concerned, and I wanted to get off this play rough to finish off his Metacham. I bring in my Metacham right away. And it's on to the power-up punches, just hoping. Sometimes when you make mistakes, there's no hope. The good news is it's the first loss, and we will see a game 3. We do know the outcome of game 3, but in the moment, this is one of the most high-pressured games that I've ever battled in a tournament. I did want to lead Metacham, but I thought he would think that I was leading Metacham. Anyways, Probopass, I switch to Metacham, and he brings in Frostlass. Now, Frostlass does resist my fighting damage, but it is a squishy Pokemon. So right now, the goal is power up punch and hope for the best. I decide to shield the first avalanche, but I know he's got extra energy. I didn't know that he's going to fire off a second avalanche before I can get another power up punch off. So this puts all the pressure on me. I burn my last shield and I'm all in. Like, no more shields, can't protect any of my Pokemon. I did not want to fire off power up punch right away. Save that for the next Pokemon. And here we go. Power up punch hitting Metacham. And I'm going to sub out to Azumarill. I think he's going to let me fire off that play rough, but no. Subs into Probopass. Thunderbolt hurts. We're out of shields, and it will resist Ice Beam, but I got nothing else. I have to fire it. And I try to get a second one off, but he does fire off his charge move first. But Bubble does a decent amount of damage. And did you see how fast? It was like 2 counters, Probopass was gone. But in the moment, I didn't really register that he was on his last Pokemon. I'm very concerned here. I get hit with this power-up punch, and I get another power-up punch off. The MVP of this game, and of course, down goes my Metacham. And again, I'm concerned in the moment. I think he has a Pokemon left, and then as I quick move him down, I'm just in shock that I won. Intense games. GG's, Kev Bub. Now, as I'm looking for T. Douglas, someone from the tournament says he's never lost a series ever in tournament play. That's insane. Very skilled trainer. He's got some meta. He's got Wishcash. We get to see Melmetal finally. Jimma decided to lead Metacham and bring along Azumarill and Skarmory. So let's go. Out comes trusty Metacham, and he brings in Skarmory. So again, we've seen this matchup. We're going to end up using a shield. Let's build up that power-up punch. So I use the shield, and he subs out Skarmory. I'm firing off my power-up punch, and I go right into Azumarill. I did decide to build up a little extra energy, and I went for an Ice Beam for the bait instead of the play rough. And now it is a risky play, but I just feel he's got 2 shields. He's got to use one of them eventually. And here I just decide to go for the kill anyway, play rough, and he uses his last shield, keeping Metacham alive. And I really felt good about that switch. We were able to just wear down his Metacham. He used both shields, so tanky Azumarill did great. And then I bring in my Metacham. I could have done Skarmory for the quick move, and then I could have ate that power-up punch. But I decided to go Metacham. We've built up a lot of energy. That freaked out. My menus came up. I'm like, oh my goodness, what's going on? And It worked out really well, and I make a huge mistake. I fired off Ice Beam thinking it would be the better play, and I'm very lucky to get off another power-up punch. If my Medicham dies a little bit earlier and it's Skarmory versus Melmetal, that's a different outcome potentially, right? So we get game one, we got a tight game two, Medicham versus Medicham. I remember this scenario and watched King IV's video, and he just told me to go for power up punch. You get to power up punch one quick move quicker, and the damage just keeps adding up. So here, I think he thought I was going to go ice punch. He uses a shield, and then I get another power up punch off. I don't know if he was building energy. I'm not 100% sure. And I just decide to let my Medicham go and let my Azumarill do his job. He switches out, and I almost switched to Skarmory. I'm really glad I didn't. And I know that Melmetal does resist, but I just Ice Beam him down. I thought that was a shield bait. I thought he had Rock Slide and Thunderbolt, but I shield his first two charge moves and it's just Rock Slide. So I didn't necessarily have to shield those, but it puts us in a great spot to take care of his Melmetal. We talked about it earlier, Ice Beam, Play Rough, Hydro Pump. I think there's more to the question also. It matters what your team makeup was. When I was practicing with Gallade on my team of 6, I did want Hydro Pump on my Azumarill. It felt like I needed it. So don't just listen to Jimma. Don't just listen to someone because they told you. You have to practice and feel out the games to find out what works best for you. I need to do a better job of remembering what the last Pokemon is and how much health it had left, right? I didn't need to do all that extra farming. I have another Sky Attack banked, but it was very close. I just wanted to make sure that I won. GG's T. Douglas, I felt the pressure. You are a skilled trainer. And this first game of round 5 is the most controversial. Very close, and my opponent said he couldn't get his power-up punch off at the end of the match. I hope it didn't sound rude, Kayvon, because my initial reaction was, yeah, mine was also full, and I just did a quick move and didn't get mine off either. But he did show me the recorded video. He did do a couple counters after the power-up punch, trying and not being able to get off his power-up punch, which would have KO'd my Skarmory. So he had the video. I did see it. I wasn't sure if it even deserved a rematch. He did debate asking the host, but I have a tremendous amount of respect for Kayvon. He might have been the strongest trainer that I battled. That is no disrespect to any of the other trainers, and with so much at stake, it's just not easy to take. So we got to get into these matches. I almost led Medicham. I led Bastiodon, which is great. He's got to get Haunter out of there. And I go straight to Azumarill. We know that this is a favorable matchup for us, and we're just going to wear down this Medicham. Watching the playback for your games is really good. There's a lot of good things that I did in this tournament, but there's a lot of things that I did very bad. This particular match was the worst use of my shields. We saved the shields and we used them later in the match. I did very good. I recognized Medicham, bringing the Azumarill, even throw the shield bait a little bit. It's not a huge shield bait, but it does save us a quick move. And we're going to use our play rough. He uses both shields. So we've got 2 shields. He's got none. And I'm going to bring in Skarmory. And what I need to work on is the next step, the next level. You got to remember what you've seen. We know Medicham is crazy right now. He just powered it up with all those power-up punches against my Azumarill. So when his Skarmory does a charge move, there's no need for me to do a shield. I did think he was going to fire off Flash Cannon, but I don't need to keep my Bastiodon so healthy. Now, I did that also because I know he has a Haunter. So that's okay. We use 1 shield to keep our Bastiodon alive, and I fire off the Flamethrower. He does not bring in Medicham. And here, I don't need to shield here. I could maybe argue the first shield because I wanted to make sure I took care of Haunter, but his Medicham destroys my Bastiodon. He fires off an Ice Punch. I probably would have gone for the power-up punch. And that's what he meant, though. He had a couple counters over the power-up punch and could not get it off. And that's what I meant about my Sky Attack. I also couldn't get it off. But his was a little more obvious. Mine just came up. So very tight, heartbreaking loss for him. I try not to overthink it. I only worry about what I can control and have to focus on these matches. So he brings out Azumarill, I bring in Medicham, and I decide to sub into my Skarmory. Now we get to find out what charge moves does he have. Ouchie doodle, that one hurt. Hydro Pump takes a huge chunk of health away from our Skarmory, and I'm just going to do Sky Attacks. He does a switch into Skarmory. I was so close to getting that Sky Attack off. Can't shield, just want to play it safe, don't want to make any mistakes. Can't bring in Medicham, gotta go with Azumarill. I'm hanging onto those shields for insurance. I build up some extra energy, and this is huge right here. So we fire off the Ice Beam, he uses a shield, and I get off another Ice Beam before he can get off a charge move. So we made our opponent waste the shield because we built up some extra energy, allowing us to get to another Ice Beam before he could fire off his charge move. So we just decided to let it go. We fire off a Play Rough, and we have got rid of our opponent's shields. We're hanging on to one shield. Do I shield here? I did decide to shield, and I do a couple extra quick moves, fire off the Play Rough to finish off his Azumarill. And here we go, Medicham. Oh my goodness, I should have just fired off the Ice Beam. All the extra energy is now wasted, and it is a Medicham versus Medicham race. So now we've seen wins and losses today where there were mistakes. So there's always opportunity to improve, win or loss, and I have a long road ahead of me. Not all tournaments are created equal. Not all regional tournaments are created equal. I fought some very tough opponents, and we all make mistakes, and there's opportunity to learn. So if we didn't get our opponent to use and waste that shield, we would not have got the win. Kayvon, respect. GG's. I look forward to the battles in the future. So we're 5-0. We win 5 incredibly tough series, and we have to fight our good friend Switch with the exact same team. Are you kidding me right now? Switch, my friend, my good friend, because of him, we have tournaments in our city. He allowed us to use his server and Discord, so Sarnia and London are combined for one leaderboard, one big giant community. So much respect for this guy. I lead with Bastiodon. He subs out his Skarmory, and I'm waiting for it, and he brings in Medicham. I go right to my heavy tank. I didn't want to go Skarmory because we've seen that power-up punch do Skarmory dirty. Flashback to round 1 against Mystery Man. He chose not to shield, play rough. But a lot of games after that, I faked it out. I did an Ice Beam, and it paid off every time. So sometimes that really does come into play. It's risky to throw out bait, but it pays off. Switch uses the first shield. We're not messing around no more. We're going to fire off play rough, and this is good because now he's out of shields. Yeah, Azumarill does resist all the fighting damage, but it allows the Medicham to start getting crazy. He's built up all that energy. Yeah, he's out of shields, but I have to be very careful. Can't go to Bastiodon. Can't get hit with this power-up punch. And look at the counters. Takes me almost to half health just with the quick moves. We do have a Sky Attack. What does he bring in? He's got an Azumarill. So we're going to fire off the Sky Attack, and we know he's out of shield, so let's apply the pressure right now. We're going to get a Smackdown off. This is a very good shield because we know that he has Skarmory left, and we know that our Bastiodon does well against Skarmory. But he switches into Skarmory. I don't know if that was a good idea, but Flamethrower does super effective damage. And did he get enough energy? Yeah, he's got the Flash Cannon, and we're just trying to quick move his Skarmory down. And we've got a Stone Edge for Azumarill, and we take game 1. I did say out loud that I hadn't used Haunter all tournament. I don't know if that stuck with him, but I thought it's time to use Haunter. I lead with Medicham. He leads with Azumarill, which is not good for us. And I don't want to bring Haunter because he's squishy. I might have to use more than one shield with him. And Skarmory is pretty good versus Azumarill. Now what is he going to do? He fires off the Hydro Pump. That was a great shield. Hydro Pump would have done a lot of damage. It's a lot of energy gone, blocked by a shield. And we're just focusing on building up that energy for another Sky Attack. A little bit of a questionable switch. He does have 2 shields though. So we fire off our first Sky Attack. And he's going to use the shield obviously. And he's just going to try to do as many power-up punches as possible. I choose not to shield it. Obviously my Skarmory is below half health. So it's not the same situation as if these two met up at the start of a match. So I try to get off, and I do get off my Sky Attack. Do you guys know what that means? Haunt, 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 haunt. Haunter gets to battle. For the first time in the regional tournament, I was so hyped when I made this trade. I choose not to shield, even if it's an Ice Punch. And this is an ideal scenario for Haunter. Whatever comes out, I don't care. I'm hitting it with Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball does so much neutral damage. If it was a full health Skarmory, it would almost kill it. He thinks about what he does, and the Shadow Ball takes out Azumarill. Boom! Uh-oh. Down goes Haunter, and all we have is a Medicham, but we saved a shield. I just have to get to this Ice Punch, shield this damage. What an unbelievable moment, an unbelievable dream coming true. The emotional roller coaster that has been PvP this year, 2019. It's just all happening in one day. Yeah, I made some mistakes today, and yes, my opponents did as well. These matches easily could have gone a different way, a different outcome, and you need a little bit of luck sometimes to get through and win a tournament, a regional tournament. But one thing nobody can take away from me is JimmaBanks, I'm a regional champion. I really and truly appreciate you, the viewer, the subscriber, the friends, my fellow PvP trainers. It's up to us to make this thing grow. Silph Arena, shout out to you. Because of you, you've made PvP a huge global thing. The experience and the way you pick these tournaments make it actually fun. And it's up to us to continue and carry it on, to make our local city tournaments bigger, the regional tournaments bigger, and to just let everyone know that Pokemon Go is an amazing game and experience, way of life. I want to thank you, the hosts of the tournament, one more time. You guys did a phenomenal job. Flawless tournament. Thank you, the city of Ann Arbor, the state of Michigan, and everyone who participated. Thank you so much. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.